Joe DiMaggio versus Mickey.
We're talking about Mickey Mantle, and he's up against the great Joe D.
Man, this is going to be interesting. I think it's a toss-up, to tell you the truth. Mantle hit for more power. DiMaggio had the better batting average. Mantle was faster, but DiMaggio was considered a better base runner. They both had great arms, and honestly, it's even Steven if you ask me.
Yeah, it's pretty close. I think Mantle was a more charismatic player with that amazing power of his. DiMaggio was more stoic. Yeah. Ted Williams said he was the best baseball player he ever saw. I think we would have to throw this one out to our vaunted arbitrator. Farzi, what says you? This is a tough one for sure.
Guys, I mean, you're forgetting one thing. Defense. Joe DiMaggio was so smooth and graceful in center field. And let's not forget, the numbers at the plate, they're diminished because of his military service that he had for the United States Army. Without question, Joltin' Joe's the guy that moves on.
Well, Murph, he has spoken.
Yes, and quite persuasively as well. So, good job, Mark.
Okay, next we have another baseball legend. Terrible Ted Williams versus Mr. Hockey. Gordie Howe, this is going to be good.
This is another nail-biter, if you ask me. Gordie Howe, there's a reason they called him Mr. Hockey. The guy played 25 years in the NHL. Howe led the NHL in goals 5 times, was runner-up 5 times, and led the league in scoring 6 times. He's one of the toughest guys ever to lace on the skates. That's why he's Mr. Hockey.
Okay, now 25 years in that league, though, Murph? I mean, that's tough, man. That's longevity right there. But Ted Williams was no slouch in that department either. He played 21 years, and he missed a few serving in the Air Force. Yep. Fact is this, Ted Williams was the greatest hitter of all time. I'm picking Terrible Ted by a nose. But we need to keep moving on to our next matchup. Henry Aaron, the man who broke Ruth's record, versus Mark Spitz, arguably the greatest swimmer of all time until that guy by the name of Michael Phelps showed up on the scene.
And that's a big part of this. So it's sort of like the tortoise versus the hare. Henry Aaron, the man who played 23 years in the majors until he broke Ruth's record, he kind of was living in the shadows of Willie Mays and guys like that. Against the hare, Mark Spitz, the golden boy of the 1976 Olympics, who blazed to seven gold medals.
That's a lot of hardware, Murph. Now, yeah, Spitz's Olympic performance totally mesmerized the world. But come on, man. He's competing against the great Henry Hammer and Hank Aaron, the man who methodically demolished the record books. And therefore, I say he moves on. Sorry. Bye-bye, Mark Spitz. Which brings us to our final matchup of this episode, Murph. The Big O, Mr. Triple-Double himself, Oscar Robertson, versus Elgin Baylor. 2 hoops giants of the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, the Big O, the man was completely unstoppable. As we said before, there was no discussion when you talk about great guards back in the day that did not include the Big O. And he was thought to be the best, even better than Jerry West. He averaged about 26 points a game, 7.5 rebounds per game, 9.5 assists during his career. He was a triple-double machine before we even started talking about that stuff.
I know, and what makes it so hard about everything you just said about Oscar is because it applies to Baylor. The best forward by a near landslide during his time in the league. Universally recognized as a precursor to the high-flying guys like Dr. J's, you know what I mean? Now, if you want to throw out some stats, get a load of these.
Looking for Baylor. A turnaround jumper, swish.
27.4 points per game.
Baylor with a rebound.
13.5 rebounds a game. I'm going with Elgin Baylor.
All right, I'm going to disagree with you on this one, and that's why we have Mark Farzetta over there. Mark, one final arbitration from you on this program. What do you say?
You guys just keep giving me the hard ones here. Can I do eeny-meeny between the two of these guys? I mean, if it really came down to it, I guess you'd have to go with Oscar Robertson simply because he won a championship and Elgin Baylor did not. So Robertson, he gets the tip of the cap here.
Farzi, that's a pretty tepid endorsement.